we got to talk about this. EA just posted a job posting. Well, that was a sentence, I guess I said. But here's the summary here. EA is seeking a skilled software engineer to expand the capabilities of its proprietary anti-cheat solution, Javelin, with a focus on the Linux platform as PC gaming on Linux continues to grow, driven in part by the popularity of the Steam Deck and the broader adoption of Proton compatibility layers. All right. And if you look at the actual job listing, it says chart a path for EA Javelin anti-cheat to support additional operating system and hardware in the future, such as Linux and Proton. Russ, we're not at 8% yet. At least we're past that for English only and Linux. But what do you think?
I think this is a sign of, just more people getting on board, I mean, are there EA games specifically that do not play? I don't even know what EA is anymore, right? I think Star Wars games is what I think of. I don't even know what they produce anymore. So are there any games that you can't play on Steam Deck or Linux that are EA games? I'm thinking Fortnite and Destiny. These things aren't EA games. So what does this lead in the future? Is there anything that we can't play right now?
Apex Legends was the big one. I think they were Steam Deck compatible, and I want to say they took it away, right? They did.
It worked, and then they yanked it.
Yeah, and then more recently Battlefield, right? That's the other big EA game that doesn't have Linux compatibility.
Okay,
also,
that's fair. Yeah,
the EA Sports FC, Madden, all of the sports games.
Yeah, so then that's fair to me. I think that it makes sense that they are trying to bring it to more people. And the fact that they're going to invest in a person to do that just means that they are going to invest in that platform, which means they see that as a growth potential. And so, I would say that's a good sign for Linux. Maybe not a huge sign. It's not Fortnite, but it's something.
ETA, do you think that this is a domino, or is it just are the dominoes spread too far apart for EA doing this to start to get other publishers to do this?
Yeah, I don't know how much I would play, all of the sports games on the deck, or even the Steam machine itself, but Battlefield coming over would be pretty awesome, and be able to boot it up and play it there would be pretty amazing. I don't know the player base on that right now. I thought it did pretty well. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know if someone else can.
I'm looking it up right now.
I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, we're all looking it up. I'll look up Battlefield 6.
While you guys are doing that, one thing that many publications probably didn't cover at all, the ones that did kind of glossed over it, is that this is actually a position for ARM. It is an ARM anti-cheat developer. The Linux thing, I assume that the Linux thing is not ARM specific, but I assume the Linux thing is almost like a secondary. Like, also make a plan for this, right? Like, first port Javelin to ARM, and then also, if you can make a plan for the Linux thing, that'd be awesome too. At least that's how I read that job description. Russ, it looks like you have that number pulled up.
I do. So Battlefield 6 came out in October of last year, so it's been out for almost 6 months. All-time peak was 747,000 players, and now it's at 46,000. So it's still that's not bad numbers compared to Marathon.
That's half a marathon.
That's half a marathon. Yeah. Now, on that Linux, the charting a path is interesting because, I don't know, maybe Carrie, you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's really only two options, right? You either make a user space anti-cheat, and for all intents and purposes, and that's what BattleEye does, right? But for all intents and purposes, a user space anti-cheat is essentially security theater, right? It's not doing any of the anti-cheat stuff that they want it to do. So it will scan game files for known cheat signatures. It will check game binaries to make sure they match expected hashes.
Yeah.
It will even do periodic screenshots to see if you have wall hacks and stuff like that. But what it does not do is it does not block the user from accessing the memory of the game. It does not block the user from altering their drivers. It does not.
Yeah, a bunch of things. You can masquerade a bunch of stuff. You can do a bunch of things that it thinks is doing, but you're not.
You know what I get from this? You guys are cheaters.
You sure know a lot about this stuff, guys.
I've never cheated in my life. I've actually never cheated in an online game, but I did my research, right? So go ahead, Carrie.
I'm just saying, take a screenshot, right? There's a thing that you can do of it's going to take a screenshot. I'm in the kernel. Here, have that.
Right. That's cute.
Yep, looks good.
That's cute of you. You took a screenshot, and I control the thing that makes the screenshot.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I still come back to the ultimate thing that when Xbox Live has a lot to blame, a lot of blame here. because when they went to the peer-to-peer method is when they decoupled a lot of the security from having it on the server side. And server-side anti-cheat, I feel, is a far better way about going about it, rather than trying to do this on the host side of like scanning a whole bunch of stuff. Because not for nothing, it doesn't work perfectly. And if it doesn't work perfectly, why am I loading this stuff? Why am I spending my computer's resources on running this thing? Why am I doing... And then this thing is like, if we have like a Windows side and it's kernel level anti-cheat, now you have something that the security of that thing is now beholden on you, and I have to hope that some hijacker doesn't get into your side that then just... deliver a payload on my side. So there's like a whole bunch of things that I don't want this crap on my system at all. Yeah. So this should only ever be server side. And I think like we've talked about this before, is like the, where it's not out yet, but it's still in like beta or whatever, is the whatever the next generation of VAC is. I feel like that is the actual goal that they should be going towards. And we should be going back to server-based matchmaking instead of peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer should be fallback, and at that point, it's up, it is what it is. Play custom games with friends so that you're not cheating, and that's basically what it comes down to. So ultimately, you're right. Sorry for the digression, but that's...
No, yeah.
And
so that was one option, and I guess the picture I'm trying to paint is I would not want this job, right? Like to chart a path forward seems, it's riddled with mines, right? This path forward. So that is one option, is the user space option. The second option is like work potentially with other big publishers to collectively convince Valve to agree to like give the user an option to install a EA kernel module or a big publisher kernel module that allows them to get kernel level access and kernel level anti-cheat. And I can't imagine Valve doing that.
Yeah.
I hope they
please
don't.
Please let us have full control.
Exactly.
As like, please let us have full control of everyone's stuff. Please understand. We need that.
Like,
yeah, Valve is like, wait, we have VAC. Just use VAC, and they're like, wait, hold on. Does that give me direct access to people's machines?
Yeah.
Like, no. Oh, no. I still want that.
But I'm seeing no shortage of people complaining that VAC is not good enough. Like, you look at Team Fortress 2.
Right.
It's a shit show.
So
I haven't played in years, but from what I understand, it's a shit show.
So, like, the new thing of VAC, I am very interested in it, and the AI, like, insofar as AI actually looking at a game, because how could you watch thousands and thousands of things? It's untenable. It's a Sisyphean type of task. You would never accomplish it with any sort of human resourcing, right?
Sorry, before you continue, I should clarify, at least as far as we know so far, it is not LLM based AI or Gen AI. It is machine learning and neural whatever, right?
For VAC 2.
For VAC 2, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, I only know of it like being like kind of an experimental thing, and they're still kind of fine tuning it. Ultimately, what my point is that I feel like matchmaking with an LLM on the server side, looking at everything and like making determinations of like it. I don't know if you guys ever do like software defined radio, software defined WAN, software defined networks. You can do some really interesting things like Guardicore and other stuff where you can tag events. And when you tag events, you are now looking at things and you're like, oh, okay, what is this? And it's like, oh, this is that person and he uses SSH to go over here. And it's like, okay, do we want to allow this? Yes. And it's like, hey, wait, why is this person randomly just doing this at 3 a.m.? Like, he never does that. We're going to block this. Like, there's these things where it can learn and you kind of tag things and then it starts noticing things and will, based on whatever metric you have, either clamp it down or allow it, flag it, do whatever. And then you can have far more narrow use cases of like, this looks like cheating. Someone should take a closer look here. And then you can narrow it in, get a person to look at it instead of letting an LLM just making decisions. But I'm just saying, like, there's all these things that you can do to get to a point where it ubiquitous. When I mean ubiquitous, I mean across multiple multiplayer games, because it learns how the games are played by people and then says, wait, this is whatever's going on here. This person suddenly became Superman. I don't know how that happened, but that's unusual. And I'm going to flag that. So I feel like that's like the ultimate end goal. And hopefully we get there, and as a generality. But we gotta escape this kernel level thing for many reasons.
Yeah, I think Microsoft tried to, like, when CrowdStrike hit, they were like, yeah, maybe this is a bad idea. And the EU was like, oh, no. If you have access, you got to give everybody access.
Yeah, that Microsoft lost that before CrowdStrike, but like that whole thing, that EU regulation kind of allowed kernel level everything to happen way back when. And then we got to the point of CrowdStrike where everything went down because of that one driver that was just like, here you go, install. And it's like, yeah, I'm broken now. And then everything went down, and then people were like, why'd you do that, Microsoft? And it's like, we told you not to do that.
Okay, we've been talking about this for a while, and I do not remember who has and has not had a chance to say anything. Does anybody have anything that they want to say about this Linux thing before we move on? All right, we're going to move on to our next topic, but not before I ask you guys to leave comments telling us what you think. Is this a win for Linux, or is it just something that like an also ran, like Rich said? Let us know what you guys think. And this was just a small part of my podcast, the Nerd Nest podcast. And if you enjoyed it, then do me a favor and click on that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, then I think you should check out the link in the description down below the like button. It's going to take you to the full podcast so you can check out the entire conversation and a whole lot more. If that sounds good, I hope to see you over there. Stay rad, and thanks for watching.